Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Jenniffer González-Colón, Resident Commissioner of Puerto Rico. First elected in 2016, the Congresswoman serves as the island's sole representative in Congress and is the first woman to hold the post. She's also one of 2 Republican Latinas serving in Congress. Welcome, Congresswoman. And Lulu, I know you have a ton of questions.
Because Puerto Rico, nothing happening there.
No, actually nothing.
Nothing happening in Puerto Rico, so I think you're not going to have anything to talk.
Especially this morning.
This morning, nothing, right? Absolutely not. I am going to afford you the same opportunity as I did everybody else, even though there's a lot of things to talk about, simply because I do know that it is important to hear the personal stories of the people up here today. And so please give us a little bit of your story and how you came to be where you are.
Okay, that's a good question when you are having a lot of things going on back home, especially this morning. So I will try to do it in a nutshell. I was elected when I was 25 years old as a state representative to the Puerto Rico House of Representatives. I was there for 14 years before coming to Congress. I was elected as well as Speaker of the House. I was the youngest speaker, the youngest members of the State House, and then the youngest minority leader as well. I was 4 years Speaker of the House, 4 years minority leader, and then I ran for Congress. Becoming the first woman to hold that position in 117 years, first woman ever to do so, and the youngest as well. I can say about the youngest now, but anyway, at that time. So I was elected in 2016, and I got more votes than any other elected official on the island for any position. So for me, that's a great responsibility and a great opportunity as well to open more doors for more girls and women to actually achieve success, not just in politics, but as well in the private sector. I mean, 70 years ago, just 3 women were presidents or prime ministers. And now we got more than 33 actually holding, actually 59, holding those positions around the globe. I think this is a great opportunity to lead by example and opening those doors. I got an opportunity many years ago to actually do an internship in the summer in the State House. And now, every time I can, I pay it forward. I bring more girls to do so. And that's the reason my office got a lot of interns.
How many?
Believe me, every semester, the summer period as well. And actually, I'm a co-chair of the Running Start, which is a nonprofit organization allowing and recruiting young girls to actually be in politics. I think it's important to do so. And I mean, women who behave rarely make history. That's been my experience for many, many years. And I actually had a motto that says, I prefer to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. And that's been my mantra for many years, believe me. And being an elected leader, being a Latina, especially in Puerto Rico, that's not an easy talk. Even when locally we are more than 52% of the population. But you won't see elected officials in the same proportion. I'm grateful that I'm part of the biggest group of women elected to Congress during this term. But I think we still need to open a lot of doors. And actually, I think the main issue we are facing is the gender gap and the wages gap that we face, not just in politics, in the private sector as well. And those numbers are being rising. So I think I did it.
You did it. You did it really well. So Puerto Rico has the governor resigned while I've been on stage?
I actually forgot to put my watch on, but I think that's happening today.
Yes. You called for him to resign?
Yes,
it should
actually,
be said.
I was the first one in my own party to do so 2 weeks ago. And I told him personally, I think that this is a time, I mean, you need to be honest. You need to say things, face to face. And I did it also in the media. This is a sad situation for Puerto Rico. We've been hit by a financial crisis. We've been hit by Hurricane Irma. We've been hit by Hurricane Maria. We're facing the reconstruction of the island, and then this happened. So I think we need to have that space to move forward, to make a peaceful transition, to give peace of mind to the people on the island, to access the financial markets as well, to bring tourism back, and to restore the credibility of the island here. So,
why did he resist for so long?
I don't really know. I do.
What did he tell you? You spoke with him.
I mean, that he was elected, and as all, we are all elected. But again, I think that his position just came to an end today. At least I hope so. And having a peaceful transition will help the island to get on track. I think this is important to do. I ran with him as his running mate. He's a Democrat, I'm a Republican, and we did a joint ticket in Puerto Rico because we both believe in statehood, and I do believe in equality for the island. That's one of the main reasons Puerto Rico is always in the back, because we don't have the same opportunities as the rest of the states. And I do represent more people than anyone else in Congress. I represent 3.2 million American citizens in the US Congress.
And yet you do not have...
I don't vote, and I don't have 2 senators. So I do believe that's the main issue Puerto Rico is facing. But you know, when things are bad, when things are wrong, you need to call for that. And I said it publicly, and after I push for that resignation, I hope that could be materialized today.
What does it say, though, that this is something that came to light? I mean, one can look at it in terms of Governor Rosselló and the people that surrounded him, but other people are pointing to a much deeper problem, a systemic problem in Puerto Rico.
I think this is, again, a lot of issues that happened in the last 3-4 years. As I said, financial crisis, 2 hurricanes, the public controversy.
But people feel they're just not well represented.
Yeah, definitely, and it's not just that. You don't have senators. We should be having 4 members of Congress, and I need to do the job of 4 members of Congress with the same resources. So this is bigger than that. I mean, when you are an American citizen and you just buy a ticket and you go to Florida, you go to Texas, and you receive all the benefits, and you can be a full U.S. citizen, first-class citizen. Back home, we do believe we are in the second tier, that we are second-class citizens just because we have the zip code of Puerto Rico.
Well, let me ask you, as a Republican, which you are, President Trump has been vocal, as he is, saying that he is the best thing that's ever happened to Puerto Rico. He said, quote, criticized the government, said that aid has been squandered and stolen. Do you agree that he has been the best thing that happened to Puerto Rico?
I think we should take the issues and the actions. I mean, believe me, I try to be out of the noise of Twitter and out of the noise of some social media because of that. As representing Puerto Rico in Congress, I can't have time for that. I need to get things done.
He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, it is.
And the leader of your party.
It is. And sometimes you need to work behind the scenes to get things done. And I will tell you my own experience. What I saw during the first 4 months.
But do you think he's the best
in 2017
thing to have happened to Puerto Rico?
Again, when I saw in 2017 he was against some money for Medicaid in Puerto Rico, and he tweeted that. And I was working with Speaker Ryan at that time, and I was so afraid we may lose that health insurance for 600,000 people in the island. We passed the bill, even when he tweeted the Friday before. So at that time I knew that for me it was better to work with the people who can get things done, and he will sign it. Talking about the hurricane, my experience with him was, I flew with him in Air Force One to Puerto Rico just after the hurricane. Everything I asked during that 40 minutes, he granted. Of course, it's one person in the media and the other one signing. This is the administration that have approved more money for Puerto Rico, not $92 billion.
I was about to say.
Yeah, $43 billion that never before were approved to the island. And we're still managing some bills to get more resources, as $12 billion for Medicaid. But again, One thing is the outrage, the way we feel about things, and the other one is getting things done. And for me, it's been a challenge to get people around across the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, in the House and in the Senate to get things done. I can't be looking into that controversy because I'm the only one who represents people in Congress, and I need to actually get things done. So I'm not gonna get into saying if he is or he's not the best thing to happen to Puerto Rico, but he actually is the president that has signed more money for the island, and that's you can combine several presidents, and you will never get that amount of money.
I have one question before we take it out to questions, which is, will you be running for governor? Because I hear there's a vacancy coming.
Actually, there's going to be, the procedure right now is that we don't have a lieutenant governor because he resigned as well.
Yes.
So the second, the next in line is going to be the local state attorney. And assuming that she's going to fill the post, she will be nominating a lieutenant governor. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean,
would you like that role? Do you think it would be?
As I said, I was the most elected, the most voted elected official in the last term. I do believe that Puerto Rico needs to restore the credibility in Washington with all the federal agencies. I told you about $43 billion, but half of that is being obligated, and just 13 of those
Are you the woman to do it, though?
Those $13 billion just arrived to the island. I mean, that's something that the State House and the State Senate need to decide.
Might you be interested?
Again, I'm a woman of faith, and I'm very proud serving Puerto Rican Congress. And whatever my island is decided, I will actually follow that rule.
It's not a no. Okay.
Why I took this interview today?
We have some time for a question
sitting in the
from
sofa
the,
and I'm in the chair.
Yeah, we have time for some questions. Yeah, here we go.
Hi, my name is Luz Martinez. Soy Boricua. I met you a few years ago here at the same event. Now that we see a shift in Puerto Rico's government and the elected officials that are going to be up next, what do you think Puerto Rico's first priority should be? What should we tackle first as an island?
That's a very good question, and I will go back to the funds. In order for Puerto Ricans to restore our economy, to restore a peace of mind, and to get things done, we need to get confidence of things happening, stability. And that stability begins in Washington. Why? Because we still need a lot of those federal funds that were approved for the reconstruction on the island to be disbursed, to be outlaid. And we're still managing with HUD, with FEMA, and with a lot of federal agencies to actually get that money down to the island. It was approved, the biggest approval ever. But we need the money down on the island, and it's not there yet. That will be my first recommendation. Second one, getting access again to the markets, bringing tourism back. I think you need to have a broader way to bring the private sector and the employees and everybody around. Everybody needs to put their their commitment in working together. I think this is a different Puerto Rico, not a party line Puerto Rico anymore. So you need to look in a broader area to have everybody working for the same goal. I think the post-traumatic stress disorder that happened with the hurricane, we're having that back again. So you need to give some confidence, not just to the people, but for creating those jobs. I mean, the industry on the island, they don't even know if they're going to invest or no because of the current political situation. So if we are open for business, you need to provide that kind of platform for stability. And that will be, and restoring the credibility. Two of the indictments that happened on the island were to the two state agencies that received more federal funds than anyone, health and education. I mean, if we are pushing for that reconstruction money to be approved for the island, how you can have those people, using those federal funds for themselves. In that sense, I do believe that we need to make a relationship and a coordination with the Inspector General of all federal agencies, review all contracts in all those state agencies that have federal money, assign a new person to deal with it, revise the contracts, and also making an oversight of all those areas, because we can't afford another scandal like this. Puerto Rico can't afford the instability of having more of these indictments coming.
Do you have time for one more question? Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve Clemens. I'm editor-at-large at The Hill. Thank you so much for joining us. One of the things that most disturbed me about the debate during the hurricane, and I see it in even the Puerto Rico discussion that's going on today about the governor, is it's sort of treated as a them issue, not an us issue. And I'm just interested in how you in Congress change the frame for members of making this, and I would even discussing issues like we're talking today in other parts of the United States. Too many of these discussions are divided and siloed in a them and us equation, and I'm just interested in what you do. And then secondly, when you do run for governor, what's the strength of the Latina lineup to compete for your seat? Is it strong? Is it weak? Does it need to be stronger?
I mean, I'm going to take the questions in order. First thing I did, I mean, knowing that I do represent more people than anyone else, but I don't have the same seats to do that. I thought at that time I need to gain empathy for my colleagues. I mean, it's a complete different story, reading about something and looking about something on the TV that actually been in the place. So what I did right away was bringing members of Congress to Puerto Rico. And I lead more than 115 members of Congress and cabinet members through a year, visiting not just San Juan, different places of the island to actually allow them to see the need, the real need we got and still do. And actually, it was easier for me to push them around after that because now they know what I was talking about. And I need to say that in a bipartisan way, all the members that went there are being leaders helping Puerto Rico out, and that's the reason we got the money. I mean, that's the reason we approved, that historic amount. Still, we need more resources to get things done, not just in terms of money, but allowing federal agencies to actually help us out. So I think that was my strategy at that time, bringing members of Congress. This is, like you just said, an us thing and not their thing. And I still do so. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between what's happening in Puerto Rico and Florida, in Texas. I mean, we were hit by this kind of the same hurricane. And again, we're an island in the Caribbean. We're going to get hit again by another hurricane. I expect not in 100 years, but again, this is something that we need to deal with, and we need to be prepared. And that's the reason all the money that's been approved is for that resiliency, to the energy sector, to fix our infrastructure so we can be facing those next disasters with more reliable tools in our hands. And the second question.
When you run for governor.
Again, I feel blessed and proud with a great responsibility. I studied in public schools in Puerto Rico. My mother was a teacher, my father was a teacher, so I come from a public servant's family, and for me, I mean, you don't have an idea how blessed and how proud I feel to represent Puerto Rico in Congress. I mean, that's the greatest joy of my life, even when I've been for 16 years as an elected official. And this is an opportunity God provide, and you need to fulfill and do what is called from you. I don't know if I will be running or not. I can tell you whatever I've been, I'm going to be doing the best I can for the island.
Are you going back shortly? Are you going to be?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm in constant communication with the Speaker of the House, the Senate President, on a daily.
Are you worried about violence and instability?
I'm worried.
After the resignation?
You know what? I'm worried not about that. I'm worried about the federal funds. I'm worried about the transition. You need to hit the ground running. You're in the middle of the term. There's a lot of federal funds for health coverage, infrastructure, energy grid. And if you bring new people to those positions, I mean, all you've been working can be just in the air. And we can afford that to happen. We can afford to have new plans. We can afford to have a delay of another year to wait for receive those funds. So that's my main concern, and that's the reason I'm providing least to those officials what we should be doing. And if we got more resignations from cabinet members that are being working right now with the federal agencies, that means that somebody new is going to take the post, and how long it will take to that person to understand what's going on.
So no more resignations in your view? There should
No,
be.
I mean,
you hope.
At least in the important positions. I think a lot of other officials should be out of their positions to really restore the confidence of the island. But there are some agencies that are managing billions of dollars in federal funds that you need to have a plan. You need to have a formal and peaceful transition, again, knowing what's at stake. And what's at stake is the people still living under blue roof, people still lacking of access to health care, among other things.
Other women behind? Other women in the bench behind you?
I believe in Puerto Rican, it's going to be definitely a Latino. We are Hispanic land, so.
That would be something if it wasn't.
Exactly, definitely.
Yeah. All right, I think I want to thank you so much for coming here on a very busy day, and please
You
a
don't
round
have
of
an
applause.
idea how difficult this day is going to be.
Muchas gracias.
Everybody to pray for what's going on in my island, so we can get through this in a peaceful way and actually get things done. So thank you for that.